like, and subscribe. Let's get straight to it. I'm not here to pander to anybody's lies. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to try to get you, I'm not going to have a cartoon thumbnail or any of that stuff up there. I'm just going to tell the truth and tell it and tell it like it is. Look, Caucasians are Neanderthals. And this is according to you all. And I've left links to where you will find yourselves calling yourself subhuman Neanderthals. Now, my position is this. Caucasians have not changed since the time of Alexander the Great. And why you would to even call this man great is insane. He was a homosexual, rapist, murderer, thief, who went around the world destroying the peaceful lives of human beings. He went around the world destroying the lives of people who wanted to live in peace. And he died of who knows how many STDs. He never even returned back to Greece. He was like a gang. His whole army was like just a gang of thugs running around killing, murdering, raping women, men, children, whoever he could get his hands on. And in my opinion, Caucasians, Neanderthal, you haven't changed. Still doing the same thing. You had World War I, took a break, World War II, took a break. Now you're talking about World War III. If the earth has a consciousness, and it does, it's called nature, it would get rid of Caucasians. You have polluted water, air, land, put a hole in the ozone layer. You've been in space, and you've left garbage up there. You have not lived in conjunction with nature, and the technology to live within conjunction with nature is there. We can pull water out of the air. We can pull energy out of the air. We don't need fossil fuel to power cars. We don't need oil. You've taken oil, which we don't need, and you've polluted the oceans with it. You've overfished. You don't even believe in sustainable anything. The food in the United States is hardly fit to eat. You talk this white supremacy stuff, and yet and still World War I, World War II, and now this war in Ukraine, it's between white people. And you want black people to participate in it, and you're racist. Tell me if that's not insane. You egotistical and you're racist, and you haven't changed morally since the time of Alexander the Great. And to prove it, you're trying to sell homosexuality to Africa. You're trying to push homosexuality and transvestitism to Africa. You have a war on drugs, and since you started that war on drugs, I've seen pictures of people in Philadelphia bent over as if they're trying to touch their toes, and they're just in that position, not even moving. I don't even know how they balance themselves. This is you created this. Caucasians, you created this. In your greed, you run around talking about Yahshua was a Caucasian. Nothing that you do exemplifies the teachings of Yahshua, whose name you changed to Jesus, and his and his ethnicity to Caucasians. Nothing about Caucasians in general is godlike or representative of Jesus. You use Jesus to get people to trust you, to befriend them, and then you build up your military using the Judeo-Christians, and then you wipe them out. All in the name of who? You got to be insane. Then you come up with this critical race theory because you're embarrassed about your history. You are embarrassed about your history, and rightfully so. I mean, you haven't changed. Alexander the Great was crazy. Columbus, total liar. I mean, you tell lies that don't even make sense. How can Columbus discover America when people were here? You don't even think before you tell lies. Now you got this critical race theory, and the only books that you should be burning is history books where you say that you invented things that you didn't invent. Lewis Latimer invented the light bulb we use today, and he invented the telephone, and black people invented computers. We invented the cars. We invented engines because no engine would work without the real McCoy oil lubricating part. I mean, all you do is lie. And now you dropped a bomb on Japan. You made the movie and you killed hundreds of thousands of people. You made the movie Birth of a Nation accusing my people of doing what you were doing. If you were to look in a mirror at yourself, it would crack into 1,000 pieces. Now you're banning books that tell the truth. But are you banning books that say Columbus discovered America? You want to keep up with this silly charade. You talk this white supremacy thing, and you're killing each other. And you are literally killing each other. You can't live in peace to save your life. And that's what it's coming down to. You can't live in peace to save your life. You would drop the atomic bomb on each other rather than to make peace. Because you're talking about World War III, it can only be a nuclear war. For president, Biden is a total racist, and he don't even, the guy don't even, half the time, he doesn't even know he's here. You got Trump, who's a thief, liar, rapist, and he's supposed to be what? Leading the Republican Party to be president? This guy has no morals, no values. He can't recite a Bible scripture. He doesn't know any. You all Caucasians, you are Neanderthals. That is the truth. And you have not changed in thousands and thousands of years. You're still doing exactly what Alexander the Great did. And when you realize that he is not great, that he is just a sick pervert, and you address that, then humanity can get on the right path. But the reality of the situation is that this country should be turned over to Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen people, because we went around the world civilizing people. We civilized the world, but we made a mistake trying to civilize Neanderthals. And it seems hopeless. It really seems hopeless. How in God's name can you be planning a World War III? You profit off of war. You profit off the taking of lives for war. And that's what's going on. Russia, I'm not going to put this, Russia, in my opinion, Putin has common sense. To me, Putin has more common sense than the people who run the United States and Israel. Israel and the United States, I don't know if it's incest or what caused them to be so crazy, but they do not have good sense. And you can say what you want to say about Putin, but and Russia, but the truth is out. Russia dissolved the Warsaw Pact, and the United States was supposed to dissolve NATO, but you didn't do that. You're trying to increase NATO and attack Russia. You're not trying to make peace with Russia. You're trying to attack Russia. And for what? You had chemical weapon facilities on Russia's border in the Ukraine, which is on Russia's border. Now, what was Putin supposed to do? Let you attack him with chemical weapons? Put poison in food? If white supremacy was real, you would be making peace with Russia. You would be making peace with Russia. But you're not making, the United States and Israel, you're not making peace with anybody. These are two insane societies. And Britain is not that far behind. And you're leading the world, the plutocracy and the kings and queens of Europe, the plutocracy, are a bunch of inbred people. That should not be allowed to run the world. That's what I think. I think the problem is inbred people who have profited off of generational wealth are inbred. They don't have good sense, and and under no circumstances should they be running the world. Now you see, like, even the Bible tells you, Joshua warned it that when he made the statement about a rich man going to heaven and can't pass through the eye of a needle, that was 100% correct. Because you got these rich people and this generational wealth, all it's doing is causing us inbreeding. That's all it's doing is causing inbreeding, because you're trying to keep the money in the family. And it's causing nothing but inbreeding. And at some point in time, the people of the world, we're going to have to do DNA tests on these rich people and find out who's inbred and who's not, and put them in a happy place. We don't have to kill them or destroy them. Just get them out the way so we can clean up the mess that they've made of the world and we can advance socially. You see, let me read this again. The knowledge which comes from creation, which exists in the past, belongs to all of humanity, for it was compiled and traded to and fro, built up on by all of humanity. Knowledge has never been exclusive of one particular group of people. Knowledge has never been exclusive of one particular people. It took people from all over the world learning to live in their environment and passing it on to other people so that we could understand the world and understand how to live on the entire planet. And to be perfectly truthful with you, there is no such thing as the worst thing that can happen is that people do not interbreed. People need to interbreed because we need the variety in DNA. Without the variety in DNA, we get social misfits. That's like brothers marrying sisters, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons having sex. We know what this ends up at. We know what not interbreeding leads to. It leads to insanity. And the most insane people on the planet are rich people, trying to keep the money in the family, marrying their cousins and whatever. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna try to decorate it. I'm not a content creator. I'm just gonna tell you the truth, and hopefully, some of it will stick. But we got to do better than this. Humanity, we have to do better than this, or we're gonna die. Luckily for me, my skin is melanated. So, melanated people, we have a chance to change things and turn this thing around because what Caucasians have done is created a situation where they're going to be living in cellars, and they're going to be the so-called mold people and the people that can't come out in the daytime. Like and subscribe if you're interested in the truth. But I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna hide from anybody. God does exist. And the consciousness of the world is nature. And nature is instinctive and will fight back against any disease. And right now, Neanderthals, as far as the world is concerned, you are a parasitic disease, just like your Alexander, the homosexual, rapist, murderer, and thief who you call great. You got to grow up.